Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's orientation training. My name is Nick Reynolds. I'm based in London, and I'm so proud to be a part of this amazing company, Reman. It's literally changing lives, making a difference all around the world. And tonight we are here to learn because we want to earn, we want to succeed. And the best way to do that is to learn and follow in the footsteps of people that are already been very successful. So tonight we are very, very honored to have a very successful gentleman giving up his valuable time to train us here in the UK. And we are so excited. The title of tonight's talk training is going to be the entrepreneur versus the employee. So if you're an employee and you've always dreamed about becoming an entrepreneur, well, tonight you're going to get some golden nuggets. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce this gentleman. His name is Chris Kim. He's a national director, top rank in the business, and he has so much energy and passion. He's traveling all over the world. He's very busy, helping so many people. So, Chris, a very, very warm welcome to you. We're really excited to learn from you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I just want to pass it back to you, Nicholas, for introducing me. Everybody in the chat, let's give Mr. Nick a one in the chat box. Let him know how much we appreciate him, his leadership, and we are all just excited to be here today. So, with that said, I just want to thank everybody for your time today. Let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Christopher Kim. I'm a national director here at Remon. I've been in the industry for about 20 somewhat years. And prior to this, I was a K-pop singer in South Korea. If you look back here, these are some of my albums. But I say this humbly because I was famous and broke. What I mean by that is I've had some accolades. I've had a great experience. I've had a great run for about 7 years in South Korea as a recording artist. To give you some, like up to date info, I have like 9 number one songs and 5 hit albums. But at the end of my career, I was famous and broke. The reason why I say that is because fame and fortune are two different things. But what I could say without a shadow of a doubt, in 2007 of August, good fortune came my way and I met this industry. I paid attention. I took a bet on myself. And what I can say is this industry is what financially changed my life forever. I never looked back. And really, the information that I heard, it was very simple. It was just all about paying attention, having a good work ethic, and a burning desire. So, with that said, I'm going to kick off this training, and we're going to start with some of the very basic fundamentals of this business. But what I do want to let everybody know is, this business is all about repetition. It's all about repetition, how much you're willing to actually put in the work and just mastering the basics. The good news is there are no newer things to learn. It's just a handful of things you must learn and apply. But the good news is you're going to get better and better as we go. So I'm going to fly through this, okay? So I'm going to go over some orientation and I'm going to do a quick start mindset training that could help you advance your business throughout the week. So let's get this orientation started. So as you know, the orientation agenda is broken up into about 4 pieces, right? We have the welcome onboarding part to Remon. We explain the support system and what it is that we actually do, right? Pretty much you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. We are, as leaders, accountable to you, but not responsible for you. You are responsible for your success. And this is why we have these trainings available to you, right? Also, number 3 is properly launching your business successfully, launching your business. Like, let me give you an example, right? If you were to invest $1 million into maybe a restaurant, what would you do? You would probably declare a grand opening, let the people that you're opening up a business and ready for business, right? So we're going to talk about how to properly launch your business. And last but not least, number 4 will be the announcements. But I'm going to fly through this just for the sake of time. And I'm going to hit upon some of the most important stuff. All right. So what it is we really do here at Remon, it's 5 major pillars. Number 1, you have to have the right philosophy, right? Like you have to have the right vision in mind, why it is you're doing this. And does that align with your philosophy? If it does, you're going to be able to go places. Number 2, we're going to talk about products, right? We're here. All of us are here because we heard a compelling story about some compelling products, right? Another thing is pricing. Price is what? What we like to say here is affordable luxury, right? Real good quality world-class products at an affordable price. Let's talk about the plan. What I mean is, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail, right? If you don't have a plan in your life, whether that's financial, a point of navigating with purpose, whatever it is, right? If you don't have anything better than Remon, what I want to tell you is this is it. This is the plan. This is the deal for you. Because what I realize is when it comes to multi-million dollar opportunities or a chance to change your life or whatnot on these things, a golden opportunity, a multi-million dollar opportunity, an Apple opportunity, or a Coca-Cola opportunity, these things don't come um, gift wrapped to you in gold. Okay. They'll come in the most weirdest ways you never thought possible. And the person willing to take the risk and a bet on themselves, that's when they usually succeed. Okay. Last but not least, people, right? We are a community of people. We're all from all different walks of life, but we have one common denominator. And what is that? The destination is the same. So we are all here as a team ready to serve with purpose. Okay. So let's talk about Remon.com. I'm not going to like go too much into detail. Pretty much when it comes to Remon.com, the best teacher is logging on to your website, back office, go through it, window shop, go through it, act as if, put in a fake order, act as if you have 1,000 people in your downline team and you're looking through. The only way you're going to learn is what? To go through the motion and go through the experience, right? That's the best teacher. Experience is the best teacher, right? So it's going to teach you all the logistics. All you need to know is to have a platform like this. It's going to cost anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million. Remon has done all the hard work for you. Just use the tools, promote, and you can get paid. All right. Obviously, in our back office, you could see all your orders, your who's rank advancing. You're going to be able to send personalized shopping bags with certain products that you maybe promoted or talked about. Let's just say you talked about one Viaton oil spray, right? You just talked about that. And you have a chance to make a special personalized shopping bag and you send that over. Remember, this is the product I talked about, right? Lots of cool widgets, right? You could country specify the bags as well, right? As long as we're operating in that country, you can get customers. All right, let's talk about the drive. The drive, number two, the drive is actually a database that will give you every single piece of marketing, brochure, social media material, business tools, presentation, PowerPoint, company videos, and much, much more. Pretty much everything you need is in this database. So, one thing I want to recommend is log into your back office, click the tab, you'll see the drive, click that, go in there. Look at everything, right? And what you're going to quickly realize is when you're talking to somebody about products or you're doing a presentation, early on, you're going to remember, what you're looking for is in the drive, right? So make sure you guys do the motion, right? Once you guys log in and go through everything, leave no stone unturned, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. All right. So number three, let's talk about actually launching your business. Launching your business is everything. If you don't launch your business, you're not really getting anywhere, right? It's like a lot of the times we talk about what we're going to do when we're successful, or maybe tickling our toes in the sands in Tahiti somewhere. But the reality of the matter is we're talking about Remon. We're not doing Remon. Doing Remon is the money making activities, and in order to understand that, we must launch your business properly. Okay, so here we're going to be going over some business plans, like short-term goals, long-term goals, how to hit the ranks, how the positions work. We're going to briefly go over all of that, but it's actually important that you apply action. Okay, remember I said the word action. Okay, so step one, when it comes to launching your business, you do need a business plan in place, right? And I remember when I first got started, my upline, okay, I was a planner, okay, 20 years ago, my upline sat me down, like a team leader sat me down, and he said, let's think of some short-term goals and some long-term goals and figure out really why you want to do this business, right? And I said, okay, yeah, I'll get back to you. And, I told him I'll think about what I want. And he was very adamant. And he said, no, 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 no. My time here is valuable. If you're serious about this business, I'm not asking you to think about your short-term goals or your long-term goals or why you want to do this. I need you to sit down right now, right in front of me, and do this exercise. And I want you to write this down. And thank God he did, because a profound epiphany happened to me, right? It's like, it's so true when they say, like, when you make a decision, the universe transpires to make it happen, right? Or if you're a believer, right? It's like, mountains could be moved with faith, right? So what does that mean? There's a universal law in place already. If you decide that it's going to happen, you can make it happen. But how does that work? This is the cheat code. This is the stepping stone that actually activates that cheat code. And how does it activate it? You must do it. You must, whether it's envisioning, whatever the word is, you must actually do the work. And number two, why you must do it is this business is a monkey see, monkey do. Did you hear what I said? Monkey see, monkey do, monkey do. Your teams are not going to do what you say, they're going to do what you do. So it's absolutely important to go through the exercise. So when it comes to short-term goals, maybe you want to be a senior manager, maybe you want to be a team leader, but it's absolutely important to remember goals will always evolve, right? So it's like if I was dead set on only becoming a team leader, team leader, team leader, team leader, only team leader, that's all that I care about, only team leader, only team leader, team leader, team leader, team leader. Guess what happens when I become a team leader? I'll probably quit or retire because the goal was set on going team leader, not enriching my life or bettering my life or understanding the concept of getting paid residual income on consumers, right? So this is absolutely important to literally program your mind right from the beginning, right? I like to say, like when you're buttoning up a nice shirt, the first button that goes in the first hole will set the whole trajectory, right? Same thing. You have to set those short-term goals. Why short-term? Because you're probably going to hit it and you need more goals to hit or you will end up retiring or quitting, all right? So let's talk about your why. The best question I can ask you is, does your why make you cry? You see, if the why is strong, the how becomes easy. Let me give you a very straightforward baby type question, okay? Where you could compare the why being so strong that the how is irrelevant, how you do it, okay? If you have a grandchild or a loving child of yours and they're stuck in a burning house, does the how you get to them matter? No, because the why is so much more important. If you are dead set on a why that actually is about to make you cry, it's so sacred and important to you. If someone tells you a no, maybe I'll think about it. Is that person's decision enough to throw your dreams away? To potentially maybe the next person could have been the next Lee Ju or the next Nicholas or maybe even the next Danny Bay, right? So that's why it's so important to be mind strong and have a clear understanding of what your goals are and why you're in this business. Remember, if the why is strong, the how becomes easy. That's how you get rich in this business. All right. Okay. Let's talk about a senior manager game plan. All right. One thing I want to iterate in this plan, okay, in our compensation plan, in any compensation plan, there is a golden rule that we say compensation plans drive specific behavior. Comp plans drive behavior. And in Rimon's comp plan, we asked, what is the behavior of Rimon asking us to do for us to get paid the most, right? And what that is very simple, right? The basic fundamentals, we want customers and we're going to pay you a lot of money to get customers. And in the leadership game of building teams, the emphasis point is creating many, many senior managers, mastering the creation of senior managers. How do you do that? You got to become one yourself. Because when you go through the exercise, you go through the experience, a few no's, a few yeses, a few customers, you are already wired and programmed and ready because you know what that already looks like. You get what I mean? It's like when you use the iPad for the first time in your life, you never forget that experience. It's grained and like embedded in the mind, right? Same thing. This is why we do certain things with intention. Now, to go senior manager is very simple, right? We're going to go over how to hit the rank, but let's talk about your goal date and the actual achievement date, right? I want you to actually set a goal. Okay, we're going to talk about goals and goal setting and how all that works, but later in my training. But if you set that goal and later when you actually achieve it, you will see probably the difference in the date, whether it was you were far off or a little bit off. But when those dates are off, that is kind of like a gauge that can humbly tell you whether you need to put more time into it or not, or you're fast tracking, you're on track, whatever it is just a temperature gauge to tell you where you are. Okay. Now, if you wanted to maybe get closer to your goal date for your achievement date, right? That would mean what? Spending a little bit more and more time on the actual money-making activities in this business. All right. So how do you become a senior manager? It's very simple, right? I'm going to break it down to you very simply. It's very self-explanatory. It takes 6,000 sales points, 6,000 SP in a 3 rolling calendar month. Not your first 3 months of starting. No, 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 no. Any rolling 3 months of doing 6,000 points. What that means is if this month is April, I'm just going to rewind 3 months back. April, what is it? March and then February, right? So those 3 months backwards, within those 3 months, if I have 6,000 points accumulative, I can be a senior manager, right? So this is how you become a senior manager. Okay. I know there's a lot of nuances here, but this is something I want to recommend you taking the time to read and learn. But the most important part, how do you go senior manager? It's 6,000 SP right here, 6,000 points, and get your 3 active customers. What is 3 active customers? Anybody could join as a lifetime customer. It's free. They just need a name, an email, and a shipping address. Completely free. And if they get that free account, they can even get some discounts, right? So if you get 3 active customers and 6,000 SP, that's how you become a senior manager. But in doing so, you're going to unlock what? 30 to 40% in differential payout and top retailer bonuses commission. All right. So as a senior manager, it's very simple. What we call this is a differential payout, right? So if I'm a 30% earner and a planner is at 10% and a manager is at 20%, all that means is I'm going to make the difference of what they buy or sell. So if a manager makes 20% and I make 30%, they make 20, that remainder 10% rolls up to me, right? If I have a planner, they make 10%, I'm at 30%, that remainder spread of 20%, that rolls up to me. So let me break it down as simple as possible, right? If I'm a senior manager and I frontline Nicholas Reynolds and he's a planner and he sells 100 pounds of product, he's going to get 10 pounds for himself and 20 pounds for me. Did you guys hear that? Now, if Nick goes on to be a manager and he sells 100 pounds again, he's going to get 20 pounds and I'm going to get 10 pounds as a differential payout. You guys understood that, right? This is why we build teams, because it's all about what? Making money work for you. So it's the concept of leverage, right? Working smart versus working hard. All right, now let's talk about the team leader game plan, right? How you become a team leader is actually mastering promoting senior managers, okay? So if you create enough senior managers, you automatically kind of get bumped up to team leader, right? So how you become a team leader is, again, like I explained, the senior manager sequence. In a rolling 5-month period, you need to accrue 50,000 sales points total. And remember how I emphasized, in order to be a team leader, you need to be a senior manager duplicator, right? So in order to prove that you're worthy of being a team leader, you also have to have 3 senior managers in 3 separate team legs, okay? Now, if you do that, you're going to essentially unlock 40% in the compensation. But remember that differential I explained? You're going to get 40%. So if a planner makes 10% and you make 40, whatever they buy and sell, you're going to make that spread of 30%, right? So remember, also make it an emphasis to write your goal date and achievement date as you become a leader, as you grow in this business, and as you look back and you start to connect the dots, you'll be able to see your goal date and achievement date and that spread. And as you understand, the money making activity and the time investment required actually to hit certain ranks, you're going to be able to apply this into your new teams as you bring them up in the business. Okay. So it's absolutely important that you yourself start with a goal date and you record your achievement date. This is actually to scale faster duplication in your business. All right. So as a team leader, how does this work? A rolling 5-month period, you need to accrue 50,000 in total sales points. Also, to maintain team leader status, you also, after you hit it from your second month, you need to do at least the minimum required 10,000 SP for maintenance. But also here, you need your 5 active customers to unlock the bonuses. Okay. It's very simple, very self-explanatory, but same thing here, right? Now, here's the nuance and the difference I want to explain with team leader. Like I had said, the differential payout, right? As a team leader, if I bring in a senior manager, they're making 30, I make 10, right? So if a senior manager sells 100 pounds, they're going to get 30 pounds and I'm going to make 10 pounds. If a manager sells 100 pounds, they're going to make 20 pounds and I make the difference of 20% of 20 pounds. Okay. So it's a differential payout. But here's the cool part, right? Remember, managers and senior managers usually transact on their first levels only, right? Their frontline transactions, right? But a team leader gets paid on the entire depth of the downline, right? So remember this. Wherever there was a manager, senior manager, and a planner pay, those are all transacted in level 1s, okay? Level 1 here, level 1 there. But as a team leader, whatever didn't get paid out to them and everything that's left over in overages, right? Like, like the overages of You know, if like a manager brought in a manager, they're only going to get 5%, right? So, but this guy's transaction, I take the whole 30. So whatever's left over, everything will roll up to the team leader. I know some of you might not understand it, and that's why you guys should also plug into more of some of the detailed leadership trainings, the team leader trainings, but you will understand it as you go. Just remember the hot spot, the money spot, the easiest spot to get to and make big money, it's team leader, okay? The meat of the move starts at team leader. So I want you to just master, just remember this, all I need to do is master making senior managers. And in my head, I want you to make it a goal to go director. I have to go director. I have to go director. But on your way to director, when you get to team leader, you're going to know exactly what to do. Okay. For those of you that have questions, go back to your team leader, go back to your director. They're going to be able to help you walk through it. If there's some time, maybe I can help you walk through it on another day. But this is very self-explanatory. Just remember differential payout. All right. Like I had said, the fastest way to go team leader is to create about 11 to 12 senior managers in 3 separate legs. Why? Because one senior manager will yield you about 6,000 sales points, right? So if you crack about 9 in the total of 3 different legs, you're going to be over that 54,000 hump for point qualification, and you will meet your 3-leg senior manager qualification. This is a lot, and in a perfect world, it doesn't work out like this. But remember, having the mindset of planning to do it like this will help you get there. All right. Okay. So again, duplication of senior managers is the fastest way to become a team leader. Okay. So remember, my job, here's where I want you to set your goal. Okay. Don't set a goal to become a team leader. Set a goal to become a director. Okay. Director. But on the way, master becoming a senior manager, how to replicate that. And remember, you're going to make money, the big money as a team leader, but your destination must be director. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the last part, right? This is called the commitment to my plan, right? Really committing, right? So when it comes to committing to the plan of moving forward, trying to be successful here, let's take a look at the word action. Do you see that word action on the top left of the white, the white slide right here? Action. Nothing happens without action, right? Like I said, right? What happens if you open a new salon or a new restaurant? You do a grand opening, okay? The day you decide to be a Riemann planner, you are now an entrepreneur and you're in the K-beauty business, right? So if you're in the K-beauty business, what do? We want to schedule your 2K pop-ups. Scheduling your first 2K pop-ups is literally like declaring your grand opening, okay? Now, when you do your 2K pop-ups, here's the mindset I want you to prepare yourself with, okay? Your first 2K pop-ups, okay, your very first two, okay? Now, don't get me wrong. We are in the business of making money, changing faces, changing finances, changing lives, delivering great world-class products that people lost faith in. However, with that said, your first 2K pop-ups is not for you to become a national director. Your first 2K pop-ups. Are we clear? You guys understand that? Your first 2K pops is not going to make you a team leader. It's not going to make you a director. But why is your first 2K pop-ups so important? Okay. Yes, we want results. We want to get planners. We want to get customers. We want results. But remember, sometimes we must slow down to speed up, meaning you must invest in yourself first and be ready to take on the load of momentum. You got to grow your plate or your mental plate. What I mean is your first 2K pop-ups, it is not about results. If you get results, great. A lot of people do. But the first 2K pop-ups is for you to learn, understand what goes on in a K pop-up. What are the type of questions they're asking? What is the body language like? What was the ratio? If like 10 showed up, if I invited 10, maybe only 4 showed up. Well, did you know that's normal? It's called a ratio, right? If I invited 10, I got 10 commitments, but only 4 showed up. Don't get sad, get jacked about the 4 that showed up because that's normal, right? But let's just say 4 showed up. And then maybe one said, I got to think about it. Another said, I'll just buy a product. And maybe 2 signed up. And maybe the one that said, I got to think about it, they came back and said, I want to buy a product. And the one that did buy a product, they said, this product's amazing. I want to be a planner. How do I make money? Understand there's a process, okay? Not all 10 people are going to show up and then 10 people are going to sign up. If life were that easy, I'd be a billionaire in network marketing. We'd all be rich, right? But the reality is being rich ain't for everybody. It's for the committed. It's for the people willing, the people going through hell. They're willing to keep going, right? Winston Churchill said this, right? Your great leader said this, right? If you're going through hell, just keep going, right? That's a famous quote by Winston Churchill. And the reason why is for you to learn, understand, and go through the motion, all right? Number three, make a list. Why must you make a list? Why is making a list so important? That is your ammunition. How can you show up to a war bringing your rifles with no bullets, okay? The number one thing I want to tell you is the people you think that will, they never will join you. And the people you thought will never do this business, they will 100% join you, okay? I guarantee you my previous upline would have never thought an old has-been ex-K-pop guy was going to join network marketing. Yet here I am. Why? Because I was looking for an opportunity. They were already a yes before you asked them, and they were already a no. So don't take it personal, all right? Now, create your product and business story. Ladies and gentlemen on the call, change your face, change your finance. What that means is be the catalyst that sparks the conversation. Amanda, your skin looks amazing. Did you do something to your face? That becomes the catalyst. No, dear, I'm using this #1 K-Beauty. Have you heard of K-Beauty? Now, the punchline is K-Beauty. Why? K-Beauty is huge outside of our industry, mainstream. Go to any mother with a teenage daughter and say, what do you know about Korean skincare? They won't stop talking. You get what I mean? So what I'm telling you is be the catalyst, be the conversation. Did you do something? What are you doing to your face? How come you look so pretty? What is happening? You got to tell me. That's the catalyst. That's how so many stay-at-home moms, the waitress, the truck driver, the person that, working 3 jobs, having success, it's because the product does the heavy lifting for you, right? A lot of people sometimes ask me, well, is Korean skincare for Asian people only? No, dear. Red, brown, yellow, black, or white, we are all precious in His sight. The K-Beauty is a sequence of hydration, layers of hydration, right? It's cleanse, double cleanse, nourish, protect. Everybody could participate in that, and Remon has proven that, right? Glass skin. Okay, so make sure you create your product and business story. Okay, the events to attend, okay? Come to the orientation, come to these presentations, show up to the live events. Guys like Liju, he's been doing it longer than me. These are people that I've looked up to when I first started, like copying their trainings. You have the best people in the industry, experts, helping you for free. There's people out of our industry spending tens and thousands of dollars to learn this stuff, and it's available to you. Attend the presentation, attend the orientation. Just like how I told you about the K-pop-up, you have to go to an orientation and presentation. I want to challenge you to go to 20 of them. 20 orientations, 20 presentations, because it's not just about you learning. It's about you learning the curriculum so you could duplicate and teach this to your future team as you grow. You want to be a paratrooper, right? Okay, UK, that's a big, symbolic reason why we opened it. And then as we go into Europe, when you start going to these Schengen countries as well, right? France, Germany, Netherlands, they're these little pockets, right? Well, you're a paratrooper. When you don't know where the momentum's going to pop up, you got to be ready, okay? When you're overbooked with one-on-ones and then now you're rolling into a home meeting and now you got to do a 20-person event, that's why you need a system. That's why you need to know orientation, presentation by the heart. Wherever you land, you're a paratrooper. You're a Remon paratrooper. Don't forget that, all right? So make sure you make a decision in your heart, schedule your team event, day and time, make a commitment. Write down your first training event and make sure you commit to the next convention date. Remember, this business is all about writing it down, declaring little action, big action. How you do anything is how you do everything, all right? Make sure you make it a point, jot this down. All right. Again, I have a great announcement for everybody here in the UK and all the people participating. All planners with an April start date will be able to participate, the UK market as well, in this Fast Start promotion. So we have an amazing promotion where if you achieve manager in 7 days, you will be able to get a $250 cash bonus. and a 3x on the travel bonus, right? I believe the Europeans, you guys will be heading to Monaco. This is a 3x promo. If you are able to hit manager in 30 days, you're going to get a $100 cash bonus and a 2x on your travel points. So if you got 20, you're going to get 40 travel points. And here's the big one, right? If you hit senior manager in 7 days, you're going to get that extra $500. Remember, senior manager, if you're able to do senior manager in one transaction, you get that manager pay. Imagine that manager pay that you scoop up with this $500. Man, that's going to be a big faith check for people to see. Okay. And on top of that, if you do it in 7 days, you're going to get a 3x on your travel points as well. And if you're able to do it in 30 days, it's going to be a $250 cash bonus with a 2x travel point promotion, right? So again, I know the month of April is coming to an end, but usually given our compensation plan, the way it drives behavior, a lot of the big momentum volume push comes probably the last 48 hours to 24 hours, right? Because why? People are running for rank. So right now is a great time to be promoting this. A lot of times, just by reminding people, you'll be able to squeeze a little more juice out of the pulp. All right, guys. So what we essentially covered is our Remon support system. What is system? Save yourself time, energy, and money, right? It's also pretty much the basic foundation where you can allow money to work for you rather than you working for money. All right, guys. So we got to cover Remon.com, the drive, how to properly launch your business, and we're going to go over the monthly event calendar promotions. But with that said, the monthly event calendar promotion, that was the promotions, but the orientation, that is just the basic fundamental training for somebody that just got started, right? So if you're a brand new planner, that's pretty much the manual of how actually the business is done, right? The navigation piece of like where to put your time, where to do the activities, how to spend your time, and really what to do with the product, right? Now, the second part of my training here is obviously it's going to be about mindset and really what to prepare for as you start to become an entrepreneur. The best way I could tell you this is, I didn't come from the traditional school, go to college, get a degree, right? Obviously, I was a musician, right? But whether you went to the traditional route or you were a musician, nobody had ever given me a financial paradigm shift. Did you hear that? A financial paradigm shift. Think of this, right? Like when I went to school, nobody ever told me how to do my taxes. Think about that. But you don't pay taxes, you go to jail. In school, I never heard of a class called Wealth 101, Success 202. We've never heard it, right? Think of it, even think of this, right? The moment you are born, you have to pay to sleep and eat somewhere. Think of that, right? So it boils down to finding the right opportunity at the right time, right? Pretty much, right? And again, opportunity happens in the weirdest ways, right? A golden opportunity doesn't come to you gift wrapped, right? So I want to talk about Remon's first mover advantage and understanding why Remon potentially is one of the greatest opportunities out there. Okay. When I first got started in this business, I had never heard something like this before. Nobody told me this, okay? And when I came to a network marketing opportunity, somebody said, "Did you know there's something called the 595?" I was like, "What is that?" And they were like getting technical. I thought this was like economics class 101, And they said there's a two class of people in society, right? There's the 5, which are the wealthy people, and then there's the 95 that are controlled by the 5 that live paycheck to paycheck. And they said in the 5%, there's the 4%, which are the financially free. They don't have to depend on government programs or support. They can live life comfortably. And then above them is the 1%, which is the ultra wealthy. And then so that's categorized as the 5. And then they said, the rest are the 95 that work trading hours for dollars, right? And that was very eye-opening. And it's actually true, right? It is true. And, the perception of wealth distribution, this is what we're actually lied to. We're lied to about this. Why? Because that's why we're told, go to school, get a good job, work 40 years, retire with a Rolex. Yeah, that's not happening, right? Like those days are gone. And even if you make it to retirement, that's if you live, if you don't die out, right? That's the truth, right? And in school, what are we taught, right? right? The wealth distribution, the perception of wealth distribution, right? And what does the media always talk about? The middle class, the middle class. Well, the truth of the matter is the middle class is disappearing. What the real reality of the 595 is telling us is 65% of the wealth is held by the wealthy. More than half is held by the 1%. The 1% controls 65% of all capital in the world, right? Now let's talk about the financially independent. Somebody that could possibly make multiple six figures a year. That's 29% of the wealth. Now the shrinking middle class, right? The people that have been lied to, right? They only hold 4%, and it's more and more disappearing to the financially independent and to the wealthy class. And obviously the poor class needs no explanation. It's less than 2% of purchasing power. This is what the real reality is. So what does that mean? What does it mean? The old outdated way doesn't work. How many children are graduating from college thinking they're special and entitled, and out of college, they're confused, they're depressed, without a career? That is why in the modern times of social media, the digital age, it is so much more truer. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. And that is why Riemann could potentially be one of the greatest opportunities of the lifetime, because it's not just about a network marketing opportunity where I have to convince you. You see, the entire world outside of our industry understands what K-beauty is. You have a compelling story and product that is already big in the mainstream. People know K-beauty, but don't know what to buy. Did you hear what I said? People know the word K-beauty, Korean skincare, but don't know what to buy. That's where the real opportunity is. Before saturation hits, we want to be the ones taking over the market and the clients, okay? All right, why building multiple streams of income matters, okay? Again, in the age of social media, we've seen it all, right? If you were to die, probably in about 48 hours, your employer will replace you, right? That is the truth. So there is a limit to a job. There's limited promotions, limited income, forced retirement, and you have a set salary. You can't get rich trading hours for dollars. Well, what about like becoming a business owner, self-employed? Well, that's 90% failure rate from lack of experience or lack of money, right? And you're tied down to the business, right? So you don't own the business owns you, literally like a bicycle, right? If you're not cycling and you stop, what happens? You're going to fall over. The business doesn't run, right? That's not true freedom, right? So with that said, the reason why Riemann can absolutely be the best opportunity for the average person with a big appetite, maybe a small bank account, but a big appetite, network marketing is for you. Why? You see, there's a gentleman named Robert Kiyosaki. Some of you may know him as a real estate tycoon, a YouTube personality, but he's pretty much a financial success, a tycoon in oil, gold, silver, real estate, and he comes from nothing. He's a self-made billionaire today. But he has this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and he talks about the philosophy of how people become rich and why people become poor. But at the end, he talks about what? Our industry. He talks about network marketing, and he says network marketing is the perfect opportunity for the average person to become rich. Why? Because network marketing's platform is the actual platform that allows you to do what big business owners do. And what is that? Harnessing the power of time investment and duplication. And if you can harness the power of duplication, which is leverage, where money works for you, right? Like if you're a real estate owner, right? First of the month, the rent comes in, whether you're in Hawaii, whether you're in the UK, whether you're in Paris, first of the month, you're getting paid. Why? Because money works for you. Same thing here. He's explaining if you could get into a platform that can perpetuate duplication of sales, you could get rich, right? But guess what is a fly product to do that with? A worldwide trending, mega trending, affordable luxury K-beauty product. Why? Guys, anybody on the call here, send me a 1 in the chat box if you don't wash your face. That's what I thought. All right. Okay, we'll move on to the next slide. All right. Now, let's talk about mindset. Okay. The reason why your mindset is so important is as you build in this business, as you start your recruiting campaign to expand your business, you're going to meet a lot of people that are probably pessimistic or optimistic, right? But let's look at this little cup right here, right? One will tell you the cup is half empty, and another will tell you the cup is half full. You see, attitude is everything in this business. Some will say it may be difficult, but it's possible. or some may say it's possible, but it's going to be really, really hard to do. You see, it's the same message, but different delivery. It's not what you say, it is how you say it. And the reason why I want to bring you some awareness around this is when you're recruiting, it will help you gauge and navigate how to spend your time wisely. Okay. If somebody is in a fixed mindset and they're a bit more pessimistic, you don't really want to waste your time and energy, because all you're going to do is have a debating session and an argument, right? You want to save that energy for the people that matter, right? Or you want to have the right gauge to be like, maybe this person might take some more time. When the time is right, I could follow up, right? But when you come across a winner, these are the people you want to invest in, and these are the people you want to quickly onboard onto your team as fast as possible. But how do you identify if somebody is a potential leader, maybe a potential national director, maybe the next Tim Herr, maybe the next Li Ju, maybe the next Danny Bay, right? How do you know it, right? It's what? It's people that you've just met recently, but you feel like you've known them forever, right? They're not problem makers, they're problem solvers. Their vision is kind of aligned with you, right? They see the game, they see the possibilities, they're willing to make it happen, force the results. These people are your future superstars. These people are the ones you want to spend most of your time with, okay? It's so that you have the proper temperature gauge in being able to navigate your recruiting skills, okay? Now, there is a video I want to share with you, okay? But before I do, hey, remember, you are the sum of the 5 people you hang around with. You get that? You're the byproduct of the 5 people you hang out with. If I hang out with drug dealers, what's probably going to happen to me? I'll probably end up in jail or dead, right? If I hang out with a bunch of car guys that are into street racing, I'll probably end up being the 5th drag racer. If I'm into making money and hanging out with successful entrepreneurs, I will probably end up being the 5th successful entrepreneur in that circle. The people we spend time with influence us more than we realize, right? Even let's look at our child, right? My child is 12 years old in 6th grade. I understand the importance of who he associates with because it influences him, right? It influences his mind and the things he says at home and the things that influences his siblings after. Remember, it is absolutely important who you align with. Who you spend time with influences the person you eventually become. Eventually. That is a subliminal message he's telling you. Eventually, without you knowing, like a thief in the night, you'll end up being that 5th person, okay? Negative influences can hinder your progress. Stay away from negative people, okay? Because if it's negative, it is negative. If it's positive, it is positive. It is what you decide to see. Seek out like-minded individuals who share similar ambitions. Let me tell you a funny story. You know, I've heard of Li Ju. You know, I knew he was like big in the UK, and I've never met him in person. And I met him for the first time in my life at a Riemann convention in Las Vegas. First time. It was in the lobby. But guess what? We clicked like that, like homies that we knew for 10 years. Why? Because we're like-minded individuals. We are the same goal-orientated people. Actually, we're actually cut from the same cloth of training. But that's how you identify a leader. And that's how we were able to click. Why? Because real recognize real. When you see those traits, you know, this is a leader. I need to align with this person, right? So remember, seek out like-minded individuals. When we're surrounded with positive, driven individuals, their energy, enthusiasm become contagious. You will be the 5th enthusiastic, contagious person, all right? Now, this person is Brian Tracy. He is a mentor to me. This person's messaging, his training has completely changed my life. Listen to what he has to say.
Around the right people. This is a key for becoming a self-made millionaire. Is get around the right people. Dr. David McCullough at Harvard did studies for 25 years looking into why it is that some people succeeded greatly in life. What he found was as much as 99% of your success in life is going to be determined by what he called your reference group. Your reference group are the people with whom you habitually associate. They're the people that you associate with at work, the people you associate with home, your church, your political party, your social circle. What he found in working with people is that changing a person's reference group totally transformed the way they think. Why? It's because we are like chameleons, and we absorb through the skin the attitudes, the opinions, the behaviors, the style of dress, the style of speech of the people with whom we associate most of the time.
You guys catch that? You guys catch that? That is why we teach become a sponge and be a master of duplication. You know how like Mr. Danny Bay has this funny laugh? He does this giggle. And so does Tim Herr do it. You see, these two come from the same training mentor. And they were taught literally copy everything your successful upline does to the T and make it yours. You see, Mr. Timothy Herr learned that laugh from somebody else, but it was a technique to break the ice, right? And get the engagement with, but guess what? When Tim taught Danny in his early days, what did Danny do? He made it a point to do exactly everything his upline does. And he took it and made it his, right? And now it became his style, right? Same thing. He talks about this reference. It's because of the reference group. It's the 5 people you associate with, right? Tim and Danny were so serious about their success. Even breathing habits, they duplicated it. You guys understand? That's how bad these leaders wanted it, right? You got to have that kind of a mindset. Like blood money is involved. Like, this is my financial future, my financial freedom, right? That's the attitude you must have. You are the sum of the 5 people you associate.
Around the right people.
All right. Now let's talk about the emotional roller coaster, right? I want you to manage you and others' expectations as well, okay? Right? I want you to have a 5-year outlook, set realistic goals, short-term and long-term. We cover this in the orientation, developing the right mental attitude. Okay, when it comes to mental attitude, for all my new beginners, this is for you, okay? And I wish I even did this earlier. When I say right mental attitude, this is the best advice I'm going to give you, and this is the best advice anybody's going to give you early on in your career. Right mental attitude is this, okay? Being positive and being, that's all good too. But what I mean by mental attitude is when it's hard, that's okay. When it's time to be honest, be honest. If you don't know, it's okay to tell your team that you don't know. If it's going to get rough, have the guts to tell your team it's going to get rough, but we'll get through it together. When you have that right mental attitude, did you know people will respect you and follow you even greater that you took the time to be honest and give that full discretion? That's what builds trust. That's what I mean. Have the right mental attitude. This is not about being right. It's about being rich. Do you want to be right or do you want to be rich? Let's get rich, right? Have the mental attitude, do right by people, say the right things, okay? Law of averages will create a ratio for you to navigate. Law of averages, right? They say you talk to 10, you're going to get 1, right? And that's for the most horrible person. But remember, some will, some won't, some wait. So what? And who's next? No is a part of the business, right? Don't be on this emotional roller coaster. One day someone said yes and you're at an all-time high. Someone said no and you're about to quit the business. No, do not be emotional, okay? Use number ratios to your advantage, right? Once you master that, guess what? You're going to be able to calculate your paycheck, how much money you want to make versus how much time you got to put in to generate that kind of an income, okay? So no emotion, logic, right? Don't be emotion driven, be principle driven, okay? All right, the next one. I talked about this briefly in the orientation. If your why doesn't make you cry, it is not big enough. You're just wasting your thoughts, okay? Look at this picture. This is the best illustration I can get, okay? See, if your why is strong, this is the best example I can give, right? Let's just say I'm not doing financially well, and it's time for back to school. And my son wants these new limited edition Jordan 1 high tops, Nike Jordan 1s, right? And everybody in school is talking about it, right? And it's kind of tight right now. But I know in my heart, if I am able to pull through maybe 6 K-pop ups, a few one-on-ones, and maybe push through, 6 or 7 sales, I could probably net $500. I understand this, okay? And my child is depending on me to deliver. What would you do? I'd do 10 meetings, 20 meetings, 30 meetings. I would not stop, okay? But if your why was, maybe I could go buy a cheeseburger after 10 meetings, you will not be motivated. You get what I mean? So you got to figure out your why you want to do this. When I got started, my father inherited a failing business. We almost couldn't pay our rent. We were about to get kicked out of our house. My long-term goal was try to be an attorney, but I needed to make money yesterday. Thank God this worked out, right? But my why was my family, and I was not willing, to let bad circumstances happen to my family, right? So again, whatever challenge is in your way, if your why is strong, the how will become easy. All right. Now, let's turn your dreams into reality, right? 20 something years ago, Mr. Danny Bay gave me this training, and it's such a simple training, but it makes so much sense, right? It gives you clarity, right? We have these dreams, like one day, someday I'm going to buy a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. Someday I'm going to retire my parents. One day we're going to travel the world, right? Well, that's just a dream. That's a figment of your imagination. But did you know, if you are willing to set a deadline to that dream, it is no longer a dream. It becomes a real goal. That's how dreams come true. You heard the word dreams come true, right? That is because you set a deadline. Very simple. Set a deadline. That's the difference between a dream and a goal. Just setting the deadline. And remember, I said the mental exercise, declare it, do it. Do the leaning forward motion of action. Why? Because when you do it, the universe transpires to make it happen, right? Or faith will move mountains, right? They say 2-3 people come in my name, a mustard seed can move a mountain, right? Set a deadline, it will become a goal. So how do you hit your goals? Again, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? 90% of success is just showing up, right? I just showed up and I got to watch how Tim did it. I got to watch how Danny did it. But guess what? These guys are the masters at planning. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Plan of action. Well, guess what? Your plan is the Riemann plan. Do the money-making activities accordingly and watch your dreams become a reality. All right, guys? It starts with setting a deadline. Okay, so it's all about being specific, right? Be very detailed on what you want to accomplish, right? All the tools are there, right? In the orientation tools, in the drive, these packets are there. I want to recommend you print out maybe 20 of these packets, have it ready. When you have a new distributor you want to launch, bam, it's right there. Start the exercise, right? Once you do this exercise and you literally ingrain it into someone's mind, you sear it into their mind, sometimes even when you're willing to quit, that person isn't. That's how powerful this stuff is, okay? Write down your goals where you can see it every day. Write down your goals where you could see it every day. I was in a training last week, Thursday. Last Thursday, I was in a training, okay? And we talked about this. Write down your goals where you can see it every day. I got to show you guys something, okay? I'm about to pull up this picture. I got called into a meeting at the North America HQ office by Betty Perez, the North America CEO. And lo and behold, when I walked into her office, I was shocked because there's like a glass window. And all over that window, even Betty, she's got all of her monthly goals, company promotions, all written there for her to see every single day. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to pull up this picture so I can show you. Bam, here it is. Okay, I literally walked into her office and I had to take this picture. This was, okay, you see that? Thursday, it's a Thursday. It was on Thursday, okay? Anybody successful, they all follow the basic traits. They write it down where they can see it. Post-it notes, you name it. Remember, visualize clearly when you want to accomplish your goals, okay? Organize your daily plan as well, and also have an exact date of when you want to accomplish your goal. All right, now, there's also one more video I want to show you guys, but in this video, it's absolutely important what he reiterates. I do this too, right? When I sit with somebody on a one-on-one or a brand new launch, when I'm launching a new distributor, I don't tell them, I'm Mr. National Director, K-pop star, Mr. Christopher Cameron. I don't do that, okay? I don't even tell them who I am or what they just know me as an upline. I specifically tell even the team that don't tell them like I'm a national director, because I want them to see what it actually takes. And I literally sit them down and I force this exercise, okay? And, Brian Tracy is going to talk about this, but hear what he has to say about goal setting. Hold on, sorry.
New person, put them through
From now on, whenever you bring on a new person, put them through this exercise. If they will not go through this exercise, do not waste a minute of your time with them, because they will never be successful if they won't follow your guidance. Here's the exercise. Take a clean sheet of paper and write down goals and today's date, and then write down 10 goals that you would like to accomplish in the next 12 months, and write them in the present tense. I earn, I achieve, I weigh, I drive such and such a car, I own. And then you take this list of 10 and you say, if I had a magic wand and I could wave this magic wand and I could have any one goal on my list within 24 hours, which one goal would have the greatest positive impact on my life? And usually this will jump out at you. Put a circle around that goal. And that's a goal you transfer to a clean sheet of paper, and then you follow the 7 steps. Write it down, set a deadline, make a list of everything you have to do to accomplish it, organize the list into a checklist, take action, and then do something every day. If you'll just do this, nothing can stop you but yourself.
Did you hear that? You see, that's the difference between successful people and people that joined and quit. Did you hear just what he said? If you look at Tim, myself, Danny, Liju, guys like Mike On, all the big dudes that do this for a living, the difference between us and the people that started with us day one and they're not here, it's this. We're the guys that actually had the audacity and nerve to do it. We were impressionable enough to do it. We actually did it, and we forced our teams to do it. But it has a profound way of taking over your team with learning, the leaning forward motion of action that takes place. It's real, okay? It's like a lot of people, they're like, yeah, in theory, yeah, it's so motivating, it's exciting, but nobody does it. They just take it, oh, yeah. Remember, knowledge isn't power. Knowledge is Google. Applied application of the knowledge is the power. Application, action. Knowledge isn't power anymore. Knowledge is Instagram, Google, iPhone. That's knowledge at your fingertips. Action is where the true power is at, actually doing this, right? If you say to yourself, this is kind of like shallow and not real, and I just kind of wasted my time, then this business will be a waste of your time. If you take it seriously, treat this like $1 million business, it'll pay you like $1 million business. The difference is the leaders that are here that understand the power of this is because they did it. The people that said, oh, yeah, I get it, understand it, and then just moved on, that's the difference, right? People that applied the actual action, okay? Okay, so how to break your self-limited belief. Breaking your self-limited belief is, it always starts with motivation, right? Because somebody gave you a pitch or told you something exciting, and that's what the belief is, right? But real results come from great habits, okay? Motivation is what gets you started, but habit is what keeps you going, right? Your energy and action, right? Enthusiastic energy, positive outlook, and taking actions in money-making activities. Doing this habit over and over and over and over again will consistently get you what? Results and back to home base. But the most of the important activities is the right energy, the right outlook, and doing the money-making activities, which is action, okay? Motivation gets you started, but habit, consistency is what keeps you going and keeps you paid. All right. How you develop a successful mindset? Most successful people, they make decisions quickly. They have high standards. If you make a mistake, they own it. Again, like I said, people will follow you not because you said what they want to hear, but you said what they needed to hear and you were honest and you gave them the full disclosure, right? Stay open to feedback because we're all not perfect. Accept that you don't know everything, right? The more you think you know, the more you don't know, right? Be humble. Celebrate others and acknowledge their wins. This is so important, right? You know, Grant Cardone said something, right? You know, some of you don't like to clap and will never clap for others, and that's why it'll never be your turn, right? Learn to celebrate others. What goes around comes around. Have empathy and demonstrate kindness, right? A lot of people in this business, more than you know, have an invisible sign on their forehead that says, help me. We're willing, but I don't know where to go, okay? And if you're willing to be a leader, what does this industry promise us? Help others get what they want, and in return, you're going to get everything you want, guys. Be a leader, help others. All right, personal development. Okay, as I close out, invest into yourself. 20 years ago, you know, my upline said, Chris, you know, Black Eyed Peas, they don't pay you residual in your car. Turn your car into a classroom. And he gave me this Jim Rohn building your network marketing business, okay? There's so many more like Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Richest Man in Babylon, Challenge to Succeed. These are all great, right? But these trainings is actually after you're in the club, after you got through the door, after you're part of the big boy club, right? But this one on the bottom left, building your network marketing business, it's like a 45, 50-minute audio. And it's the basic ABC 1, 2, 3 of understanding our industry. This changed my life. This is what gave me the conviction. By the way, this gentleman is Anthony Robbins' mentor. Okay. Make sure if you can get around it, listen to it. Fun fact, this audio is free on YouTube. Go look for it, listen to it. I promise you it'll change your life. All right. Okay. So here is the call to action. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I know sometimes you could end up in a slump. Sometimes you could be demotivated, but this is not a get-rich-quick business. This is a lifelong 3 to 5 year plan, better than a 40-year plan business. It's the handful of new recruits that can make or change your career. Every leader's business was once in a slump, but how they overcame it was that they focused on finding a handful of new recruits, okay? So what I mean is, make it a goal to sponsor 10 frontlines. What I mean is, not all at once. We all know you're going to start with 1, 2, 3, but as you start moving along, you'll quickly understand why I said this if you do the action, okay? Because the way our comp plan works, comp plan drives behavior, okay? In our plan, planner, manager, and senior manager, they pay on level 1s, right? So what they're saying is to maximize your commission, build level 1s wide. But as you do this, guess what? It's going to set you up to be a team leader. It's going to set you up to be a director. It's going to set you up to be a senior director, set you up to be a national director. All the while you hit your qualification and have a nice size of open line group activity business. This is how big team leaders make money, directors make money. We promote this in our team all across the board. Make it a goal to sponsor 10 frontline. That is your call to action. Sponsor 10 frontline, and you will watch the magic happen in this compensation plan. All right, in closing, I want to reiterate one last time, the April special Fast Start promotion. All planners with an April start date will qualify. If you start April 30th, from that day, you get to qualify for this promotion as long as you do it in these qualifying times. All new planners, all of our planners in the UK do qualify, take advantage. So with that said, I want to thank you guys for giving me the time to do this training. I hope I had a chance to serve you and pour into you. And I look forward to spending much more time with you guys. So with that said, I'm going to send the call back to Mr. Nicholas Reynolds. I want to give a special shout out to Mr. Liju as well for having me. I love you, brother. Thank you for all you've done for this company, leading the charge, and what you've done for our industry as well. So with that said, thank you guys. I love you guys. I'll see you guys, I believe, on the next Opportunity Reman Revealed call, the next opportunity call. I will be hosting that. I look forward to spending more time with you guys. I will be coming out to the UK in May. I believe it's the 24th on a Sunday. Stay tuned for times. I'm excited to meet you guys face to face. Listen, we all have different teams, right? We all have different teams, and that's the team name on the back. But remember, we all have the same team on the front, and we're all one family. We represent one brand. Let's be presidential. We have a life-changing opportunity with real products, quality products. You're never going to feel guilty selling them. It's going to do what it says. It's clean. So with that said, let's rock it. I'll see you guys at the top. Nick, back to you. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic, fantastic, Chris. That was amazing. Thank you so much for giving your love and devotion, years of experience, cut from the same cloth as Liju. Yes, I'm with you too. And we're really excited to take what we've learned today, put it into action. So for everyone here on the call, for those of you in London or you know people in London, take advantage of our European headquarters in Hammersmith. We have events there every Wednesday evening, hosted by myself, every Thursday evening as well. Then on Zoom, we have Thursday evening, 6 p.m. British Summer Time, business presentation. And again, this time next week, another amazing presenter going through the ABCs of how to get orientated in the business. And as Chris said, he is coming to the UK. So if you're there in Italy, book your flights now. The weekend of Sunday the 24th, he is going to be doing a special training at the Reman European headquarters in London. So I'm going to be there. Are you going to be there? That is the question. So have a great night. God bless. Stay safe. And thanks again, Chris, for delivering an amazing training tonight. We love you and we look forward to welcoming you to London very soon. See ya.